Hey, everybody, and welcome to this special live edition of Alaskwatch. Hope everybody can hear me out there. We are going to have this is a piece of Alaskwatch history here. We're going to have not one guest, not two guests. We're going to have four guests, including me. There's going to be five people on the screen. It's going to be pandemonium. Be talking about I'm going to start the circle of death here. All right, I think. Hello. Okay. All right. So first up, we've got doing this in order on my screen here. From Fairbanks. Can you see?
Hey, Beans, you're going a little in and out.
We might be putting a strain on the last internet right now. All right. I think we're good now.
Woohoo!
All right. So we're going to talk about the expo. I've got my cheat sheet here to talk about what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Boreal Bigfoot Expo. It is going to be in June in Fairbanks at the Carlson Center, June 10th and 11th. And the tickets are on sale right now. You can go and buy them right now at the Boreal Bigfoot Expo website. And we're also going to have a little social gathering, a little fellowship, a little cryptid fellowship the night before on Friday at the Hoodoo Brewing Company in Fairbanks. And it's going to be awesome. So Jesse, you want to tell us a little bit about the Hoodoo Brewing Company?
Hoodoo Brewery, they I don't really know a whole bunch about them, actually.
They're a local brewery here in Fairbanks, and they're pretty centrally located. They're going to be really close to where the expo is happening over at the Carlson Center. They're only about 2 blocks away from that, and they're a very popular location with the locals for their local microbrews. They got a great patio out back, so we did this at the last expo, and it was really popular. We had a really good crowd out there, and it's kind of just an informal get-together. So if anybody wants to come out and meet some of our guest speakers, a lot of them will be there that night, and you might get a little bit of one-on-one time if there's anybody in particular you're hoping to catch at the expo. So, and you can have a crisp cold brew while you're at it.
Awesome.
And also, you never know who's going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we had some unexpected guests in a good way.
Yep.
So Bigfoot was there last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was actually. I think we shot a couple of our commercials over there last year.
I was talking about Adam Davies happened to show up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw Adam was at a place in Tennessee today. I hope they had some good a good turnout down there.
I saw that.
Yeah. I think what did we have last year? Was it like did 300 people come or something like that?
Very close to it.
Yeah, it was roughly 300.
And that was for a one-day event. And this year it's going to be 2 days. So I think it's shaping up to be a really awesome weekend.
Yeah, I think we have more vendors and we have obviously more guest speakers.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of guest speakers, do we want to talk a little bit about the local guest speakers we're going to have there?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, we have two of them here with us, which is Larry and Michael. So Michael is with the Sasquatch Tracker, and of course, Larry is from Lasquatch and the Port Chatham documentaries, and you've been in a couple of the PNW documentaries too, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been in Bigfoot Encounters of the Pacific Northwest and Alaska Triangle and Aliens in Alaska. And I think I'm leaving out something, but yeah, I've been in a few documentaries and TV shows.
And then Michael, you've been in you've been in the most recent Small Town Monsters. Actually, all of us have. So some of us are working behind the scenes this year, but Michael will be putting on a presentation. He had to do so remotely at our last expo, but this time he's going to be here in person, and I'm really excited for it.
Keep your fingers crossed. I plan on coming.
Can you tell us a little bit, maybe a little teaser about kind of what you'll be presenting at the expo this year, or what you'll be doing at the expo this year?
Well, in addition to guest speaking, I'm going to do a track casting workshop on both days, a Saturday and a Sunday event. I'm just going to give a small little demonstration on how to track, how to cast tracks, how to document, photograph, and measure. It's a 50-minute time slot for each one, so I can't go too into depth, but it'll be a good general overview and give people some good basic knowledge. Guest speaking wise, I'm going to talk about Boreal Sasquatch. Going to highlight on some of the violent characteristics, man versus Sasquatch type of things that happen.
Ooh, that'll be fun. And with that workshop, it sounds like people are going to be able to take their casts home with them at the end of the day.
Yeah, actually, I'm making a bunch of casts because the medium won't dry in that amount of time. There'll be a demonstration pour, but for the people that do sign up, I will have casts ready to go to take home.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so they'll get a souvenir either way.
Either way.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great. And on top of Larry and Michael, we're also going to have Rob Roy Menzies. And he's the owner of the Bigfoot Art Gallery down in Palmer. And I think he's also on the Small Town Monsters documentaries out at Area A, which is pretty exciting. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from him. Who else do we have coming?
Fred Roll.
We've got Fred, who's, I believe his cousin is here in the chat with us right now, Ryan.
Well, cool. Well, hi, Ryan. And where's Fred from? What part of Alaska is he from?
I believe he lives in the valley, but I'm not sure exactly where.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he had been out to Dutch Harbor area or was from Dutch Harbor area or something like that. So that'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to hearing from him. And then we've got some out-of-state guest speakers too. Some really big ones. Anybody want to tell us about them?
I'll tell you. Oh, let's have Norm go. Norm's over there, just quiet as a church mouse. I forget he's over there. Norm, tell us about some out-of-state speakers.
I'm very excited about Red Grossinger. He's coming in from Whitehorse, Yukon. He's been researching in that area of northern Canada for a long time. He's got some fascinating stories. He has a tendency to listen to First Nations peoples, and he's gotten a lot of good information from them. I've got two of his books right in front of me now. In one of them, he's got accounts about a dancing Sasquatch, seeing a Sasquatch dancing, which I haven't gotten to that part yet, but I'm very excited to hear about it, and I hope we'll hear about it in person. He also has, and by the way, that's from Tales of the Northern Sasquatch. He also has published the Sasquatch Research Manual, and in that book, he does a very thorough job and a very specific job of talking about how to go about researching, to the point of where he's got forms in here for you to fill out as you go off on your expeditions. He breaks them down into different types of investigations, different things to look for, track casting. He's really done his homework. He comes from a very disciplined perspective, but I also get the impression he's pretty open to hearing about unusual encounters. He doesn't necessarily discount the woo. He looks into it, judges them based on their merits, which I really appreciate. So I'm very excited about Red coming. He's actually driving from Whitehorse, which is quite a trip. But
yeah, that's pretty dedicated.
yeah, he's going to shave off many hours from taking a plane, believe it or not. The plane
Wow.
is going to take him down to Vancouver, Canada, before coming back up. So
Isn't that crazy?
that's crazy. I'm wondering, Beans, if you can maybe talk about the gentleman from Arizona that I'm also very excited about.
That's right. We're going to have Jonathan Redbird Dover coming up from Arizona. He is one of the Navajo Rangers. If you've watched the new Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, there's a whole episode dedicated to the Navajo Rangers, and it's pretty interesting. I think, again, we're going to see a very unique Native American perspective. He's going to get to tell us about some of the stuff they have down there on the reservation, some of the cases he's investigated. And personally, I'm just looking forward to sitting down and telling cop stories to each other. I think that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm excited about him. I'm excited to see not only some more Native representation, some law enforcement representation. You've got me, we've got Michael, and now we're going to have Jonathan. It's going to be an awesome mix.
Yeah, that's really great. The professionalism, the professional backgrounds really lend credibility to the things that you guys do. So I really appreciate that kind of perspective. And I'm really hoping with the kind of indigenous people aspect of the Navajo reservation, I'm interested to see how maybe some of our Alaska Native attendees are going to possibly have some of their own stories, and if there's any similarities between the encounters between Native villages and tribes up here and maybe Native villages and tribes down there, So
yeah, we could very well be a fly on the wall to some interesting conversations, to hear some similarities all the way from Alaska to Arizona. I mean, those are two completely different climates. We got desert and we got Arctic, and it'll be interesting to see if there's similarities and some reported behaviors between those two climates.
I agree. All right, cool. Well, it sounds like we're going to have some really awesome guest speakers. I'm definitely revved up. Anybody want to talk about Alex and Eli from Small Town Monsters?
I'll let you do that, and I'll get the next one after that.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we're also going to have Small Town Monsters there. If you guys are not familiar with them, they do documentaries all over the United States, anything ranging from the Jersey Devil and Mothman to the Flatwoods Creek Monster. And of course, they've been up here to Alaska, and they're coming back again for the second time, I think now. And I'm really excited to have them back. They were really cool people to work with when they were here. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year.
I think it was last year.
Yeah.
Last May.
And they got some really interesting stuff while they were down on the coast. And so they're going to be coming back up and screening a couple of their documentaries for us. I think they're going to do the Alaskan Coastal Sasquatch Part 1. There is a Part 2, but I think we're going to also screen The Last Frontier, which focuses on the interior here. So we'll be able to cover a little bit of both bases. And yeah, I'm really excited to have them back. They are some really chill, cool people, and very awesome evidence and stuff that they gather from. I think they just hit like 10 million views collectively for all of their documentaries. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I believe after the expo, they're going to be heading out and we're going to be doing some filming in some various places, including going back to Area A for a little bit of an extended stay down there. So that's going to be
Man, I'm jealous.
yeah, that's going to be coming out eventually. So probably later this year.
And they're
Cool.
also going to be open to doing like a Q&A right after showing each of their documentaries. And so that way anyone who has questions or film students or something, you know, anyone can ask questions. They'll have answers.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's something that if you've never been to a Bigfoot conference, and I've been to a couple as like an attendee, you know, like a person that just walked in, and I've been there as a speaker. And one thing that separates like Bigfoot conferences from a lot of other, because I've been to like comic book conferences and stuff where there's been like Stan Lee and people like that. And there's definitely a separation between the guests and the speakers and the celebrity guests. And you don't really get to spend that much time with them or really interact. Maybe you get to stand in line and go through their table and shake a hand or something. But at a Bigfoot Expo, you really get a chance to, you know, sit down and talk to the speakers and the people there and just really get a chance to like just hang out with them. And I think that's pretty cool. You know, Cliff Brackman says, you know, like the cool thing about Bigfooting is, you know, the people that you watch can, you know, become your like friends. You know, it's a very accessible community.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you know, one of our guest speakers, Meldrum, last time I've been to a conference that he was at, he had a nice setup where you can get like some of his casts or his book, and he'll sign them and stuff for you. So I'm really hoping he'll be doing some of that at our expo too. So
yeah, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Batman.
I got that from Dr. Meldrum. Yeah.
Oh, the cast.
Yeah.
I got this from Dr. Meldrum. This is a knuckle cast, which I think is pretty unique. Obviously, I mean, like, look at the size of that compared to my hand. You can clearly see the digits and the thumb there at the end. But that's terrifying to think about how big this is. And yeah, he signed the back for me, so that's pretty awesome. This is one of my favorite casts that I have.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. You can look at casts and stuff like that in books and on the internet all day long, but when you see one in person and
Yeah.
see just like how big it is, it really puts things in perspective. I mean, you're just like, how in the world is something that big running around out there and we don't know about it?
Yeah. And Ryan, I see your comment about getting some merch and some autographs and pictures. I'm sure you will have plenty of opportunity to do that, especially if you maybe get one of our VIP experiences where we do the dinners. It might give you more of an opportunity to get a photo op or something and have some more one-on-one conversation with our guest speakers. So. And that goes for anybody, but spots are limited, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think pretty much everybody's going to have some kind of merchandise, a book or something. So,
and we will have program pamphlets that will be handed out to each guest too. So if nothing else, you might be able to get an autograph on that.
Well, I guess the final speaker to mention would be Dr. Jeff Meldrum. He is a professor of anatomy and anthropology over at Idaho State University, which is in Pocatello. And he teaches a lot of anatomy and like anthropology that's based on bipeds and movement and that sort of thing. Most people know him because he's been on so many shows. I have his book, and if you look at Heidi's screen in the background, she has a copy of it right there. I grabbed a copy of that when it first came out quite a while ago, and I think he's coming out with part 2 pretty soon, if it's not out already. Is it out at this point? You guys know?
I don't think it's out yet.
I don't know either.
I think they're going to be doing like a documentary or something on it, right?
Yeah, Doug Hychek is I think he's got a Kickstarter going for it right now. They're trying to raise some funds for it, but it's Legend Meet Science 2. I'm not sure what the projected release date is on that, or I know they're still trying to raise funding for it.
Yep. Yeah, I see they've been plugging it a lot on Facebook, talking about it, so it should be out soon.
And Dr. Meldrum was pretty interesting. Heidi and I, we went down to Phenomicon in Utah, and he was a guest speaker there, so we listened to him do his thing, and it was pretty interesting. It was pretty fascinating. And he is pretty academic, probably because he teaches at a university, but it was nice having that sort of presentation, you know. It was just different than some of the others, so it was nice to have that sort of academic feel to it.
Yeah.
I saw his presentation on Patty on the PG film a few years ago, and you know, I went in, I was like, you know, maybe it's real. I don't know. I wasn't quite sure how to feel about it, and I walked out of that presentation going, holy crap, you know, Patty's real. I mean, he really broke it down to where I could understand it and made it seem like there's no way they faked that.
Yeah.
But he really brings a unique perspective to it, a really academic perspective. Sometimes, especially when you're talking to him one-on-one, he'll get a little, he'll start talking over you, you know, like, I don't understand. I don't understand that word. We got to go back and you got to use simpler words. But again, you know, he's in that environment. He's in that academic environment. But I think he's probably one of the most credible academics that the community has at this point.
Yeah, I think I want to say he's like the final say, but I think he's definitely like a leading authority as far as from an evolutionary, you know, zoological kind of perspective as far as the Bigfoot phenomenon is concerned. He also, when we saw him speak last, he talked a lot about animal population, and how that could correlate to Bigfoot populations in the area. And, you know, he broke it down with actual mathematics and statistics. And it really shows how, you know, credible the possibility of an animal like that existing out here is. So I'm really looking forward to being able to see that. I'm hoping that some of maybe our local university students will appreciate that as well. So,
yeah, it would be nice to see some of the local college students show up and listen to his talk. You know, I think that would be interesting. Maybe some of them could come and ask him some questions for an assignment or something. I don't know if that would be something they would be interested in, but it could.
Yeah,
we've reached out to him.
Yeah.
But if there's any students watching, I mean, feel free to come down. It's a great opportunity.
Do you guys think we have a good mix? I mean, we've got, on the science side, we've got Dr. Meldrum, and then we've got Red and Redbird, and, you know, some of the other guys, like Rob Roy. Do you think we've got a good mix between science and maybe some of the more, I don't want to say woo, but, you know, open-minded researchers?
I think we have a great range. I mean, we have indigenous cultural heritage. We have, you know, professional military and police backgrounds and things of that nature. And then we have the academic side. So, you know, I think that lends credence to kind of all facets.
It's a good mix. There's a little of something for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely agree.
So looks like Ryan has a comment there. He was asking how many people went and how many are planning on going.
Yeah.
So people are still buying tickets, so we don't know how many are planning for this year at this point because it changes day to day. But for the 2001 Expo, which was the Expo before this, we had just a little under 300.
You mean the 2021 Expo? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is that what did I say?
2001.
Oh, sorry. I've had a headache all day. Yeah, 2021. That's what I meant.
I'm kind of hoping we'll double our numbers this year. It'd be great to have like 600 people.
Yeah. Well, I don't, and anybody that's watching, I don't want to like scare anybody. I don't want to say like we're going to sell out, but it would probably be better if you bought your ticket in advance than showing up at the door to try and buy one. I don't, like I said, it's probably not likely that we're going to sell out, but it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and pick up a ticket now, just because you never know.
Especially, they can go to the website, borealbigfootexpo.com/tickets. Boreal, Boreal. I've had a few people ask me how you spell that, so just if anybody's wondering. But yeah, I would definitely get my tickets ahead of time. We have 2-day passes. I think that's the best value. And then for that workshop and the VIP dinners, we're having a VIP dinner each night. And that's going to be a really great 3-course meal at a local venue. And the first night is guaranteed to have Meldrum there. The second night is guaranteed to have Small Town Monsters there. And then we'll have a mix of some of our other guest speakers at each dinner. So, yeah, I would definitely, if you want to get kind of an up close and personal encounter with any of our guest speakers, that's the way to go about it. And you'll be able to kind of talk Bigfoot and have some good eats at the same time. So get those tickets ahead of time. Also, I think they have to be purchased online, Jesse? They can't be purchased
for the VIP dinner tickets need to, because we have to know in advance. We have to give the venue a head count.
Okay.
So those are, the deadline is like a week before, I think, or a couple days before. It's listed on the ticket site.
Okay, guys. So you heard that. You got to get your tickets ahead of time if you want a VIP dinner. You cannot come to the door and get that. So I would definitely, jump online right quick. If you've got a Mother's Day gift in mind or a Father's Day gift in mind, now's a great time to do some Bigfoot ticketing. I think that would be really awesome. My dad would be over the moon to get a ticket like that.
Or you know what? Maybe you have a high school, someone in high school who's like graduating. That'd be a good, summer gift.
Yep. So the other guest speakers, like Ryan, I see your comment there. One is Fred, Larry, Rob, Roy. That's going to be just a mixed bag, whichever one that they decide to go to. Maybe they'll be at both. Maybe they'll just be at one or the other. Meldrum is definitely going to be Saturday. And Small Town Monsters from On the Trail of Bigfoot, they're going to be Sunday. So
I will probably be there Saturday because I think Sunday I might have to run. If my wife comes, I'm going to have to run her to the airport Sunday night. So Saturday night will probably be the night I will be at the VIP dinner.
Okay.
We should also mention that the track casting workshops, Mike, you want those kind of limited space. So that's limited tickets for that. So get them while you can.
Yeah,
once they're sold out, they're sold out.
Grassman says, wish I could fly up. If that's Will Ulmer, if he showed up, we would throw him on stage. He would end up being a speaker.
That would be amazing. Hey, if you decide to come up last minute, Grassman, you're more than welcome. More the merrier. We'd love to have you. We'll show you some Alaskan hospitality while we're up here.
Yeah, he was up. He had a relative in the military, and he was visiting here a few years ago, and they caught a really interesting, almost like an Ohio howl in the valley. He's got, it's on his YouTube channel, but it's interesting audio capture and just amazing. It's It's like, oh, he was just up here visiting, and boom, caught a howl.
That's interesting. You know, I've recently heard about a couple of like 2 or 3 encounters in like the Hatcher's Pass area down in Matsu Valley, Nwasala area, that have kind of come up recently. So that's kind of cool. And I've heard talk about some encounters with Bigfoot stealing fish out of fish wheels. So that's also quite interesting.
Yeah. You see, that's an aspect of conferences that a lot of people don't really realize. Is it's a great opportunity to network. If you're interested in going out and looking for Bigfoot or hearing stories of encounters, it's great to show up and just hang out and listen and talk and just network with people, and you can get an idea of like, oh well, I've never really found any Bigfoot here, but this person says that there might be some activity over here. Maybe this is a place I can go investigate.
Yeah.
So there's a really great networking aspect to these conferences. I've heard a lot of people like, oh, they're just like flea markets with Bigfoot themed merchandise, but that's not been my experience at all. I mean, it's fun. The atmosphere is fun where you can go in and maybe you can't go into Walmart and find a Bigfoot bottle opener or something, but you can at a conference if you like Bigfoot themed items. But it's the networking and the you learn so much just from talking to the guests and the other attendees. It's a great atmosphere.
And you
Yeah.
can, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'd say it's kind of interesting to see who all shows up, because people that you may know that you didn't know were interested, can show up. And this summer, I'm thinking about maybe putting together like a little hiking club or something for people interested in Bigfoot, and then just, I don't know, weekends or something, go on like a little
Excursion.
a little excursion or something. And so if I end up doing that, then I'll post it on the Boreal Bigfoot Expo Facebook page.
Cool.
So if anyone wants to keep it, tabs on that. It's
And-
I'm waiting for it to not be slushy outside.
And Nora, maybe you can speak to this a little bit too. I have, as I've been going around kind of spreading the word about the expo, people that, Alaska, a lot of the people here are kind of tight-lipped about Bigfoot experiences. But I've noticed that when you start talking to them about it, they'll be like, oh, you know what? I kind of had a weird thing happen to me, like up north of Minto or something. And I would say probably 80% of the people that I talk to end up telling me they've had some kind of an encounter. So you would be amazed at it happens way more often than.
Sorry.
Not me. Heidi, I think you're right. You get talking to people, and sometimes they don't even necessarily think of it as a Sasquatch event or phenomenon. But then you point out, hey, people are reporting this in association with Sasquatch all the time, and their eyes get big and they start to reevaluate their hunting trips, and maybe things have been going on in their lives.
Yeah.
I know it's slowly crept up on me that way too. But you're right. In Alaska, there's a lot of people who have had something odd happen to them out in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking to that very thing, I grew up out kind of in the North Pole area off of Badger Road. And, I always rode the bus to school. My parents didn't drive me to school. And standing outside of the bus stop, like you'd always hear, I always thought it sounded like someone hammering on wood. And I just figured someone was building something all the time. And it would be kind of confusing because it'd be the middle of winter and you'd hear like this pounding. And I didn't realize that was something that was associated with Bigfoot. So I don't know. Maybe I heard Bigfoot growing up.
You might have. Quick shout out. It looks like we might have Alex joining us from Pedikov Media. He's one of those small town monster crews. So nice to see you. We can't wait to have you back either.
Yeah, Alaska is. I think there's a lot more going on up here, Bigfoot wise, than people realize. I think the problem is that we don't have the population to have the encounters. I don't want to say there's more Bigfoot than people. I don't think that's the case, but you got to have a Bigfoot and a person to have a report. And a lot of times I don't think they're in the same place at the same time. But when they are, it seems like everybody's got either a Bigfoot story or knows somebody that has a Bigfoot story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, Mike, how many reports do you get through Sasquatch Tracker?
I've got over 300 so far, probably pushing closer to 400. And on that note about people, most of these sightings and encounters, I mean, there's always some that happen at a hunting camp, but most of these things happen around population centers. So that kind of supports the idea that, obviously you got to have people around in order to have the encounter. I think there's a pretty big boreal Sasquatch population, but there's so few and far between, and the people aren't there seeing it, that a lot of the things just go unreported.
Well, and I think people don't realize that how concentrated the populations in Alaska are. We're all kind of, in the Matsu Valley and on the peninsula, on the coast there, or you're in Fairbanks, and other than some very remote villages, there's nothing for miles around. You go an hour in any direction and there's nothing out there. And to try and go Sasquatch hunting in a boreal forest is not as easy as it sounds. Our topography is very challenging. The tundra is very challenging to hike through, especially if you're in areas where there's no trails. The ground is very spongy. There's muskeg, there's peat bogs out there. And then, of course, you've got the wildlife. So it can definitely be challenging to be out there searching for something as elusive as Sasquatch is. So, encounters here would be few and far between. Got to have the person and the animal. So,
yeah. So, Karis says only 15 tickets for the dinners. Are we down to that many tickets, or is there more for the dinners? Do we know?
Right now, it's pretty limited, and we might be able to expand upon it if we need to, but it is limited for the dinners.
Yep.
You're going to be dining with guest speakers.
Yep.
And staff.
And staff. Yep. You might see a few of us there. So we're also going to have some vendors there. We're going to have like AK apparitions, pie wackets, and a few other local vendors and crafters. And then we're going to have a couple of food trucks too, I think. And so we've put together kind of a fun little game, you could say, a bingo card. So if you go around to all of our vendors and our guest speakers and you get a signature or a stamp on each one of the boxes for this card, you can turn it in and you'll be entered for a raffle for a grand prize at the end of the expo, which will have some cool swag in it. And I believe a one-night stay up at Chena Hot Springs Resort for 2. So that's a pretty big deal. If any of you out there have ever been to Chena, it's very scenic, really nice area. So you'll be able to have some cool stuff at the end.
That's awesome. Is that going to be the drawing for that? Going to be at the end on Sunday?
Yeah, that'll be at the end on Sunday. Have we decided if that you have to be present to win? I haven't. I don't know if we've actually tied that down yet. That way, I know that we are going to be taking, personal information like address and stuff so we can get in touch with you. Obviously, if you live in the state of Alaska, it'll be easier for you to go to Chena Hot Springs. But if you're coming from out of state, be sure to add a couple days onto your trip in case you get a night stay up there, or, just to sightsee, because Alaska is amazing and awesome and everybody should experience it at least once in their life. So
Yeah, and on top of the vendors, we're going to have there's going to be some unique opportunities there. I think we're going to have some live podcasts. I know I plan to do something at one. I'm either going to do a live podcast or like a live stream, depending on my connectivity. And I'm also going to be doing some random filming around the event to put together a little highlight video or something on my YouTube channel. But I think we're going to have some pretty cool opportunities for people, with the track casting, the VIP dinners, and then a chance maybe to tell their own encounters or to speak on a podcast or a video. I think it's going to be something really cool. It's going to be a little something for everybody.
Yep. Yeah, we'll have another set of podcasters out of North Pole called What's with the Neighbors. I actually did a little interview with them regarding the expo a couple weeks ago. They're really cool girls, and they do a lot of stuff, missing persons cases and things like that. And I think they'll be there to take some stories and encounters and maybe interview a couple of our guest speakers too. So yeah, it's going to be really neat.
And also on the Boreal Bigfoot Expo website, we have an area where if you're not going to be able to attend, or even if you are going to attend, you can submit any photos or anything like that you have. And there's going to be a big display. Actually, Jesse can probably tell us a little bit more about that, because I think she's putting that together.
Yeah, it's basically what we need from you is a name, a location, and some sort of blurb about what's going on. Maybe you give us a little story like, I was out fishing on this river and this thing came across. I had my camera, so I took a picture, and just give us a little details about it. What's going on? How'd you come across this photo? What do you think is in the photo? That sort of thing. We have a couple of tracks and other photos and stuff that people have submitted. So this is always kind of cool because people get to see actual photos, and if people have video or sounds or something, we'll figure out a way to display that too. It's just really cool to see what other people are have taken.
Yeah, I believe Rob Roy is bringing his soundboard from the art gallery that's going to have a bunch of the vocalizations that they captured at Area A, and that's pretty cool. It's you put the headphones on, you push it's like a the music sampler at the music stores they used to have, where you could hit the button and you can hear the sound, and it kind of like gives you a little description of what you're going to hear. But I think we lost Norm. Maybe he can jump back in here in a minute. But let me see. He's gone. Maybe he'll come back. I think we're about ready to. So if somebody's coming all the way from Anchorage or the Valley or even the Kenai Peninsula, what other kind of stuff can they do in Fairbanks? Maybe after they get done with the expo on Sunday, and they're just going to kind of maybe hang around a little bit. Is there some other cool stuff in Fairbanks to do?
Yeah, there's a lot of microbreweries in town. Latitude 65, Silver Gulch, Hoodoo. We also have some really great nature walking areas like Creamer's Field, which is like a bird and wildlife refuge. And they have like 8 to 15 miles of trails. And you get to see some really cool, like the way the habitat in Alaska changes due to like ice heaves from permafrost and stuff melting and things like that. You get to see a lot of that out on the boardwalks and things. Of course, Chena Hot Springs, if you want to go and have a really nice dinner and jump in the springs for a little bit. And we also have the Museum of the North, and there's an antique auto museum, which is actually right next to Creamer's Field. And I love the auto museum. I go there just because I like to look at cool old cars. And
fashion. They have like over 600 pieces of antique fashion So it has to be like before, I think, the 1940s or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have a pretty cool collection, and they say that they rotate it pretty frequently.
Yep. And then there's the Santa Claus house in North Pole. And if you want to get out of town and do things, there's Denali National Park, which is only about 2.5 hours south of us. And then if you go north on like the Elias or the Elliott Highway, you'll hit like the Brooks Range and things, which you'll get to see the tundra and the Arctic Circle and the pipeline. So, yeah, there's a lot of cool things around here for the outdoors enthusiasts. So
now, if you want to go squatching after the expo, and you take a little time for that, I like to focus on the area kind of between Fairbanks and Nenana. There's not a lot of public hiking trails. There's a couple if you just have to Google it for trails. So, what do you guys think?
After the last expo, Stephen and Adam and I drove up to Dead Horse, and I got to go. I don't remember what company you go through, but you give them you pay them, and they take you to the Arctic Ocean, and you get to wade out into the Arctic Ocean, and they give you a little certificate, saying you've waded into the Arctic Ocean, and it's kind of cool because it's not something many people get to do. And actually, before they let you out, they got to like walk around the beach and make sure there's no polar bears out there. It was a pretty cool experience. And, it's a couple of days drive to get up there after you leave Fairbanks, but, it was kind of one of those once in a lifetime things where you're, when are you going to get the chance to do that again?
Another really great spot would be the Wrangell St. Elias National Park, which there's a northern access point, and then there's a more popular southern access point. It doesn't get visited too much because it's a drive to get there. It's definitely a drive to get there. But you can take the Toke Cutoff Highway, which goes between Gakona and Toke, and you would drive right by Harp if that's interesting to you. You could also go down to the south area, which is the Kennecott Mine type area, Copper Center. And there's a lot of stories of Bigfoot being in that area.
Yeah. It's a big state. People don't understand how big it is.
Yeah. I would also suggest the Denali Highway, which we actually had ourselves, just this group, a little excursion out there last summer on the Paxton side of the highway. And this highway kind of cuts between the Parks Highway and the Richardson Highway. And it's called a highway, but the majority of it is a dirt road, and sometimes it's really rough. So if you're going to go back there, I would suggest having a 4-wheel drive just in case. It should be pretty dried up by June, but all of our snow is melting very slowly this year. So the roads could still be pretty rough.
And if you do go out that way, be careful of moose, bears, and very large porcupines.
Yeah, I suggest anybody from out of state coming up here that's going to do any major driving, like drive from, like the Kenai Peninsula to the interior or through Canada, pick up the Milepost. It's a thick book that basically goes through the Canada-Alaska Highway. There, yeah, Jesse's got one right there. Basically, mile by mile, and gives you a detailed description of what you're going to encounter along the way, where the gas stations are, where the hotels are, local attractions, what to watch out for, and it's invaluable. If you're going to make that drive, it's definitely worth the price. But speaking of worth the price, I mean, I think we can't impress enough upon people how awesome this expo is going to be. I mean, it's going to be great. It's going to have Meldrum. It's going to have Small Town Monsters. It's going to have one of the Navajo Rangers here. We're going to have Red Grossinger. Rod Roy's, I think, is going to be making his conference debut. I don't think he's ever spoken at a conference before. We're gonna get him, and we're gonna initiate him right into the conference lifestyle. We're gonna get him. We're gonna throw him into the fire.
He'll love it. He's a ham. He'll like it.
But yeah, I think I just want to impress the people that, you know, if you're thinking about going, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about it, but you're not sure, you know, you need to show up, because, you know, we need everybody's support to make this happen. It's a lot of hard work, believe it or not, to get this together.
Oh boy.
You wouldn't believe the amount of work that goes into this stuff, getting everybody's schedule lined up and getting everybody's travel arrangements and the meals and everything squared away.
Advertising.
It is a big undertaking, bigger than I expected. And, you know, if you want to have more of these, or if you're interested in attending one in the future, you need to support this one. If you can't make it out, you can head over to the website, the Boreal Bigfoot Expo website. You can buy some shirts, hats, mugs, anything like that. It'll support us so that we can keep going and doing more of these, even if you can't make it to this one. But we'd really, really like to see everybody that is interested come to this one, because it's really going to affect how many of these we have in the future and their size.
It's rare for Alaska to get events like this. And if we want to be able to expand and do more, and, you know, I noticed Ryan mentioned having a 4-day expo, you know, all of that costs money. You know, everything up here is more expensive than down in the lower 48. So, you know, sponsorship always helps. If you decide you want to sponsor, or, you know, anything, we would love that. You know, you get some tickets if you sponsor, and some other perks. And in fact, speaking of sponsors, we should maybe do a shout out to some of our sponsors, like Auto Trim Design. They were kind enough to give us a sponsorship, which is great. Thank you very much. Iola Maintenance, of course, Sasquatch Tracker, and the Alasquatch Podcast. And don't we have a few others as well, Jesse?
Yeah, we have Western Mechanical, which is where I work. So I'll just thank them for sponsoring us. Let's see here, Chena Hot Springs, and they're providing one of our gifts that are prizes. You know, we have the Midnight Sun Council Boy Scouts. They're going to be assisting us at the door and just around the expo. We have Extreme Expeditions Northwest. They are going to be coming up. They're based in Spokane. And they're going to be putting together the Medellin Falls Bigfoot Expo, so they'll be up. We have Sasquatch Tracker. We have Lasquatch. We have the Bigfoot Mapping Project. So, which
Midnight
is
Sun
cool.
Council.
I'm sorry.
The Midnight Sun Council. Did you mention that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have a handful of private sponsors as well. So if anyone wants to be a private sponsor, they can just do that. The best way to do it is you go to the website, you hover over the home option on the menu, and sponsorship drops down, and you can just click on that, and it can all be done online. It's super easy, super convenient. That's how we like it.
And you know what? We also, I think, have a couple more slots for vendors. So if you're a local and you have something you think you'd like to contribute, or you have something maybe for outdoor enthusiasts or is Sasquatch themed, and you'd like to sell your wares or you know, come to the expo, you can still get a vendor booth. We have a couple spots left, not too many, but I think there are a couple spots left for that. And yeah, amid our sponsors, we also have, amid our vendors, we also have displays that are going to be kind of interactive and educational. You can kind of see one of them here in the background. This is George. He's my Gigantopithecus skull, so we'll have him on display, and you'll get to see him up close and personal. He's pretty impressive to see in person. And then we'll have some.
Well, just for comparison, I did pick up a life-size human skull, which, like, you can kind of see it. It's life-size.
I see those.
And we're gonna have a couple skulls next to the your Giganto one, just so people can get a perspective. Because you see the Giganto skull and you're like, wow, this is big, but compared to a regular person's skull, it's just massive. And like it'll help be really cool.
Yeah, like I was saying about the track casts and stuff. Like you can look at them in books and online, but then when you see them in person, it really puts things in perspective. Bigfooting is a contact sport. You need to get out there and look at things and touch things and just really get an idea of how massive these things are. You really have to get out and see it in person.
Yeah. And we have some other really cool interactive displays. I don't want to spoil too much, but we'll have some scent and sound type displays and things like that. So it'll be a lot of fun, both for adults and younger folks. So absolutely come out for the weekend and help support us. So it's going to be an awesome time.
All right, guys. Well, I think we've said everything we want to say about the Boreal Bigfoot Expo. Like I said,
does anyone out there have any questions that we didn't answer?
Any questions about the Expo ticket buying process? What times? When do the doors open? When can people come in?
Saturday, it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and the VIP dinner to follow. And then on Sunday, it's going to be from 9 to 5. We're going to start breaking down about 5:30 and having that VIP dinner afterwards for that. So, and then of course on Friday night, that we're going to have that kind of Expo kickoff, Bigfoot and Brews social over at the Hoodoo. So that's going to be around 6 p.m. I believe. So if you want to come out for a cold drink and to kind of talk and socialize, some of our guest speakers will be there. So you might have a little bit of an impromptu get together with them to kick off the weekend. So
and it might be a good thing to note that Hoodoo Brewing, they always have like I think it's like root beer or something that they brew on tap, and they always have some sort of food truck, it seems. So so you don't have to go there and drink beer if you don't want to. And
I think it can be the whole family. They allow anybody of any age there. So
they have a really nice outdoor space.
Awesome. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think we're gonna put a pin in it there. If somebody has a question, maybe they're watching this after it airs, and they want to ask a question, how would they get in touch with someone from the Boreal Bigfoot Expo to ask a question?
They can visit the Facebook page, which might be one of the easiest since most people seem to have Facebook. We're also on Instagram. We have the website, so anyone can check out the website and send us an email or.
And all you got to do is search Boreal Bigfoot Expo. That's our name on the Facebook and the Instagram, the website. It's all Boreal Bigfoot Expo, so really easy to find. And if you post anything Bigfoot related, you can hashtag it Boreal Bigfoot Expo, and it will show up on our website stream as far as our media is concerned. So that's really cool.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it. I look forward to seeing everybody. Hopefully everybody that watches this gets to attend or gets to support it in some way. Alaska and Bigfoot, I mean, it goes together. It's like American apple pie, it's just, they're just entwined. So please come out and see us at the Boreal Bigfoot Expo. I think everybody's going to have a great time. And I think we're going to call it good there, and we're going to get off here. got any questions, you can visit us on social media or at the Boreal Bigfoot website. And we'll do what we can to square you away, answer any questions you got, get you some tickets, and get you on your way to see us.
Can't
Anybody
wait to
else
see
got anything?
you.
What's that?
Can't wait to see you guys there. It's going to
Yeah.
be fun.
We'll see you there June 10th and 11th at the Carlson Center in Fairbanks, Alaska. It's going to be a great time. All right, guys. Good night.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Yeah.